There's something I need you to do. Jump into the comments section of this video right now and let me know. Are you in? Are you in for Songtember 2024? What's that? You don't know what Songtember 2024 is? Well, I'm glad you joined me because in this week's Studio Live Today podcast, I'm going to tell you all about it. Hello, my name is Pete Johns. This is the Studio Live Today podcast. My goal around here has been to help you create, record, and release your best music. And it continues to be that. And every year for the last 5 years, we've done something called Songtember. Hashtag Songtember. It is a song in a month challenge where I, right here on the channel, create, record, and release a song. And I invite you to do the same. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of reasons why we do it, which I'm going to explain because this is the why of Songtember. Why do I do it and why do I encourage you to do it as well? What is the point? Well, I'm glad you asked. We are going to dive into that. A couple of bits of housekeeping here. StudioLiveToday.com. That's the website. That's the place you need to go if you want to find out all the information about this channel, about me, about the tutorials that I put out there, about all the live shows that we do, including Your Music Live, GarageBand Weekly, and the Happy Hour that we do each and every week, as well as this very podcast you're listening to or watching right now. The other place I'd love to direct your attention to is studiolivetoday.com/Songtember because it is Songtember right around the corner. I'm recording this in August, late August 2024, and in just over a week's time, we'll be kicking off with a big launch party for Songtember 2024, the 6th iteration of Songtember, and it's pretty exciting. But why? Why do we do it? We've talked a little bit about the what, but I'll give you a bit more of the logistical side of what it is to start with, and then we'll get into why and why you should consider being involved. So, what is Songtember? And why did I start it? So way back in the old days, the long time ago back in 2018, I decided it would be a great idea. In fact, 2017 was the first time I did this, to see if I could do a song in a month. I sat down and I was working on a song at the time. It was called For the Birds. And I decided that I would document my process from the very first chord or chord progression or melody idea or lyric idea I had right through the songwriting process, right through the recording process, and all the way to the completed, mixed, mastered, and released song. And it was around that time that I developed Create, Record, Release, which has been my mantra. It's also a website. It's also the name of my Facebook group. And it's those 3 pillars that I really think are important for when you're actually creating music. Creating music, recording it the best way you possibly can, and then releasing it. And when I say release, many people say, but I don't want to release. I don't want to be out there on Spotify. I don't want to release to the world. It doesn't have to be. It can be release. To me just means let go. It's the very literal word release. Think of just, you know how you say you drop a single? I like to think of that as dropping a single means you're dropping it. You're finished with it. You're done. You get rid of it. It's gone. That's my version of dropping a song when it comes to releasing music. So create, record, release. That's the way that we want things to go. When I did this first one, I did this first song in a month challenge, and a lot of people said, man, Johns, you've encouraged me. You've encouraged me. I want to do the same thing. I want to do a song in a month challenge. I want to create, record, and release my own song. And people started doing it. They said, I was inspired by what you did, and I've created, here it is, my first song that I finished in a year, 5 years, 10 years, ever. And I thought, how cool is this? We should do this again. And it just so happened that I was like, we should do this in a month. What month works for this? Well, let's see, don't want to do it in the middle of summer for either the northern or the southern hemisphere. You want to do it, don't want to do it around, Christmas time, around busy times of year. September, not much. Apart from the iPhone being released in September, there's really not much exciting stuff in September. It's kind of that in-between zone. And it's springtime here in Australia. It's autumn time. Everyone has some decent weather. It's just, towards the end of the year. I think that's the time to do it. So, September, hey? And I thought, well, if it's going to be September, it might as well be Songtember. And the word Songtember came from the Rocktober. And I can't remember. There's all sorts of AC/DC Vember. Old radio stations used to always do these sort of things where they're like, yeah, it's our Rocktober wall of sound. And it's like, whatever. So that was the direction I decided to go is, yeah, we'll make it Songtember and we'll do this first challenge. And I thought I got to sweeten the pot a little bit. So the first year, being that iTunes was still kind of a thing back then, I says to the community, I says, everyone that releases their song, I'm going to buy it. And I thought at the time, maybe 30 or 40 people might actually finish a song and I'm going to be out 30 or $40 to buy all these songs. And it was. It was, I think, some of the vicinity of 40 or 50 people that finished. And I now have a collection of iTunes that I don't really use anymore because who listens to their music in iTunes anymore? But it was cool because I wanted to encourage people to actually release their music. So those that did release it and finished it, I said, hey, you're going to be a professional musician after this because I'm going to buy your song. You're going to get at least one sale. You can guarantee, you can bank on John's buying your song. And I did that for the first few years of Songtember. And then two things happened. We had too many people now that are actually releasing music and who really actually buys music. But it doesn't mean that I won't stream your music because I definitely will if you finish a song in Songtember. So we did the first one. It was a success and it all came from there. So we did number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Each year growing, each year more people getting involved. Other YouTube channels have started getting involved, other people in the community. We ride that hashtag Songtember across all the different platforms, all the Facebook and the YouTubes and the Instagrams and wherever you're sharing your stuff. Slaps.com, folks started using that to share ideas and to share their demos, which is very cool. We'll do all of that again this year. But we're now at the point where people look forward to it, and Songtember is kind of in the indie music online garage bandy logic-y recording community, which I understand is a very small niche. You know what? I don't think I'm too big for my boots. I think that I'm just proud that so many people in the community come together at this time of year to make a song, and the community is one of the reasons why we do it. So that's it. That's what it is. That's why I started it. What's actually the goal? So what's the purpose of this? Yeah, create, record, release, fine. That's some nice little catchwords, Johns. But what is your goal? What is the purpose of this? Well, I think that the beautiful part of what we do now, the fact that we live in the future, I know I say that a lot, but we really genuinely do. We live in the future. And one of the best things about living in the future is that we have access to be able to record, to be able to do songwriting, to be able to capture ideas. You can pick up your phone and record on that. You can record on your iPad. You can record on your laptop. You can record on your PC. You don't need a whole lot of gear. You can buy a $100 audio interface and a $50 microphone, even cheaper than that if you want to, and you can record good quality stuff. So I wanted to make sure that everyone possible knew about this. They knew about the democratization of music creation. There you go. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Because we are living in a world, and look, it's even more so now. My goal now is that there's a lot of people out there that look at the music industry and go, nah, not for me. Or they've been discouraged by people. They've been told by people, oh no, unless you're a professional, unless you got $1,000, unless you're in a studio, unless you're in a band, unless you got a record deal. All of these excuses as to why you can't do it. And I wanted to strip all of that away and say, why not? Why can't you? Just do it. Just get in there. I know it's a bit cliched. It's the old Nike catchphrase slogan, but just do it. And everyone can do it. The number of people throughout previous Songtembers that said, honestly, I never thought I could actually finish a song. And it wasn't until I sat down and tried and listened to feedback from the community and joined in the chats and watched the videos of me doing it that I realized that, hey, yeah, this is a possibility. This is not only something that I should do, this is something that I want to do. And many of those people continue to be part of it. You probably put your thing down in the comments. You were probably the first person down there saying, yep, I'm in, Johns. Count me in. I'm back. So the goal is to make sure that people that perhaps aren't creating music are doing it. The other thing is to make sure people are finishing music and sharing music, because look, there are some people that can say, I just do music for me. I make music for pleasure. I'm the only one that ever hears it, or maybe a couple of very close friends or family. And it's not about the sharing. It's not about the feedback. I just like doing it because it's fun and it's fulfilling and it's entertaining for me. more power to you. There's people that crochet and knit and paint and do all sorts of other things, and they do it just for them. And then there's people that want to share that with other folks, that want to actually put that stuff out there to the world. I don't think either way is right or wrong or otherwise. I just think it's your choice. But I think too many folks think that it's too scary to share. So if you've made a conscious decision not to share, that's one thing, right? But if you're just like, I don't feel comfortable sharing, people are going to make fun of me, people are going to humiliate me. No, that's the purpose of Songtember is to create a safe space, to create a space where even though some of this stuff we might be sharing publicly, if you put that hashtag Songtember on your post, you know that there's other people that are doing the same thing, that are in the same boat, and that shared experience is so important. It shouldn't be underappreciated how important it is to have someone there with you. You know how they say a problem shared is a problem halved? Well, it's true. And when you're scared to do something, having a group of people to do it is so much easier. Think about anything you've tried to do on your own and then compared to doing it with a group of people. Karaoke. Ever been to karaoke? And there's people that will not sing karaoke until like three or four of their friends get together and say, we're totally doing Brown Eyed Girl. And 5 minutes later, la 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 la, they're all up there, they're all doing their thing. So yeah, I think it's about pushing past that and finding ways to actually just get stuff done. So that's my goal in a nutshell. It is to make sure that the maximum number of people are creating. And has this always been easy? No, people have been critical. I know it seems a bit weird that they would be critical of some funny dude in Australia that's like, hey, more people should make more music. But there are some people that actually think that the barrier to entry should be there, that you shouldn't be allowed to create music, that if you're not good enough, if you're not a professional, you shouldn't be allowed to create, record, and release your own music. And to that I say, pish posh. It's the nicest words that I could think of to say there. But no, because I get it. I understand it. There's some things in life you don't want to do. Like if you're a builder or you're an electrician and someone says, I'm an amateur electrician, I'm going to wire up my PowerPoints. Well, no, I'm an amateur brain surgeon. I'm going to just, no. But music, you can be an amateur at. Painting, you can be an amateur at. Poetry, you can be there are many things that you're allowed to be a beginner or an amateur. And the thing is, the only way to get good is to learn. How on earth do people that are professionals that look down on people and say, you can't do this, you're not allowed to, expect people to get better? Now, I know there's things like, but they're flooding the music scene. Like the reason that professional musicians can't make money is because of all of these upstarts coming in and sharing their home recording stuff and reducing the quality of things. No, because it's the same with everything. Like, have you seen how much things have exploded in every part of the life? The internet has done this. Digital has done this. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, so you might as well stop trying to cram that sucker in, yeah? And yeah, look, it does frustrate me. And again, devil's advocate, I get it. If you change is hard. If nothing else has happened over the last 10 years, it's that everything has changed. Whether you're looking at socially, politically, pandemically, environmentally, we're undergoing some significant change, and that can be hard. And if you were used to a certain way of doing things, and then suddenly things are changing, I get it. But it's not going away. And I don't think that that's a good enough reason. And I think that it is better because who knows? And again, part of that is that I think some of the quote unquote professional folks are actually scared because they're seeing that people have the opportunity to do this. It used to be that you had to be pretty privileged to be able to afford studio time, to be able to afford to go to engineering school and learn how to actually engineer and how to record and how to mix and how to master and how to release. Whereas now, we got YouTube, baby. We got tutorials out the wazoo. We've got the ability to do it with our own tools in our own homes, and it's super awesome. All right, rant over, or at least suspended for now. Let's talk about the benefits to you of participating in Songtember, because there are a lot of them. The number one is completion, finishing a song. Now, if you're anything like me, you're not great at finishing songs. You've got a lot of songs that are ideas or half finished or 80% done or 90% done or 99% done. and you don't actually finish them. And there's a few reasons why. The first reason is that the start of a song is super fun. When it's new and shiny and exciting and interesting, it's really easy to record a song and to get your idea down. The middle section's kind of fun too because you're adding tracks and you're arranging and you're hearing the song come together. And then you start mixing. And then you do mix 14 and mix 15 and mix 16. And then you take your master out to the car and listen to it and the bass is completely gone. And then you bring it back and you tweak it and then you take it back and the bass is overloading. Yeah, so that last part, the last 20% is probably the least fun 20%. So in terms of getting a song done, completion, like actually being part of this. And I realized that when I did my first song in a month challenge and then I kicked off Songtember, a lot of people were really grateful because they're like, I had so many unfinished songs. And this is the first time I've just really dedicated myself to finishing a song. So that's a wonderful thing. Number two is the feedback. Being able to get feedback as you go through the process. So a lot of folks throughout the month of Songtember, yes, I'm going to call it Songtember, they liaise with other people, they post it on Facebook, they post in Discord, they put it on slaps.com, they're sharing it, they're putting links in the comments of the videos, they're watching my videos. There's so much ability to get feedback throughout the month to find out what's working for your song, what's not working, what are other people doing, what can you learn from other people. So the feedback aspect, super, super good. Related to that is the community. Having a shared experience, as I was saying before, a shared experience where you're all doing the same thing, it can reduce that anxiety, it can reduce the fear, and it can make things feel a whole lot better. You're not alone. Have you ever, again, if you go bungee jumping, if you're going with a friend, you're more likely to jump off than if you're just there by yourself. Weird analogy, maybe. But having the community around you and all doing it together, we're all in this together, let's all do this, that can really be a great thing and really help you as well. And number four is sharing. Sharing is caring, Sharon is Karen, but sharing at the end of the experience, like celebrating with other people, because it is a celebration. When you get something done, like completing a song, it should feel good. You should celebrate. You should take that moment to do a little bit of a victory lap and feel good about what you've done and what you've accomplished because it is a good thing and you've done it. And look, I'll talk about this in a moment when we talk about the rules of Songtember. But keep in mind that there's no penalty for not finishing. But I think the only penalty that I'll put out there is if you want to participate, but you don't, and you've got no reason not to. That's the only thing I'd say is bad. If you start and you don't get finished, we've had that before. We've had people that get to the end and they're like, well, I only got a demo done, but I learned a lot and I got to watch other people's songs and I got super inspired and motivated. And then they go on and finish it in October or November or next year or never. It doesn't actually matter. It's more about being involved in the process and giving it a crack. That's what we're saying here at Australia. Give it a red hot go and see what you can do. I think you will be surprised at the outcome you can get. So what are the rules of Songtember? Well, the rules are, rule one, there are no rules. Rule two, go to studiolivetoday.com/Songtember. Look, there really aren't any rules with this. It is not a competition. There is no prizes awarded. There's no competitive ranking of songs. The result is what you get out of it. And I know that can sound a bit woo-woo and whatever, and some people have said, I would love it if this was a competition, Pete. Why can't you rank songs? Why don't you award people the best songs? Because it's subjective, because I'm just one bloke. And even if we had a panel of people choosing songs, they're just a few people. So, yeah, there really are no rules. Any genre, absolutely any genre of music. In fact, sometimes it's great to pick a genre that you don't normally produce. That can work a lot better for some folks. So consider that. What platform? Any platform. I know I'm a GarageBand and a Logic Pro guy. You don't have to be, though. You're rocking the FL Studio. You're a Fruity Loops fan. That's cool. You want to use Cakewalk by BandLab. That's cool. You want to record a live recording using the voice memos feature on your phone. That's cool too. You do you. But do something. Just do something with this. So the main goal here is that on the 1st of September, you sit down with no ideas and you start recording and you start capturing ideas and then you make a whole song. If you've already got ideas that are on your voice memos, use them. Why not? I did it. I cheated last year. I already had a riff for my song that ended up being my song choices. And I just put that out there and said, hey, I reckon we should use this. In fact, I had 4 different ideas and you got to vote. That was kind of fun last year. Might do something similar. I put 4 ideas out there and said, hey, which one should we continue with? And the one that got the most votes is the one that we continue with. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be anything specific on a genre or a platform. And you can just try your best. And what if you don't finish? So that's probably one of the last things that I want to talk about here. What if you don't succeed? Well, again, it's subjective. And success is, to me, did you do more than you would have done if you didn't participate? If yes, then win. And even if that was we've had people that in previous years, they've watched 1 or 2 years worth of Songtember. They've just sat there as a spectator and soaked it all up. And then in the 3rd year, they're so inspired and they so have the FOMO that they want to get involved and they've started creating songs. We've had people that haven't finished their song the first time around, so they come back again and have another go and they finish it the next year. Or we've had people that have never finished a song, but they still love the whole concept of Songtember and enjoy hanging out with people, the joy of music creation and sharing. And that is really kind of my final point, that music is supposed to be fun. I think we forget that sometimes. You can get really serious. If you go and listen to particular YouTube creators that have a bit more of a negative spin, you might think that music's very serious and music's very conflicty and music's very confrontational and music's very competitive. And it sure can be, but it doesn't have to be. It can be fun. It can be joyful. It can be a positive experience. You get to choose how you interact and engage with music. Just like you get to choose what sort of music you listen to, you get to choose how you respond and how you react to music. Want to be super hyper competitive and try and become a #1 selling artist? Go for it. But you don't have to. Want to just be a weekend warrior and do it because it's a fun hobby? Go for it. Want to be somewhere in between where maybe you can make a little bit of a side hustle using your music or creating videos around your music? That's cool too. But have fun with it. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Because it's one of the pure things in life that you don't have to make competitive. I know Australian Idol, American Idol, Someone's Got Talent, all these talent shows. Everything's being made into a competition. Cooking shows are now a competition. Frickin' house building shows are now a competition. Everything's got to be a competition. Storage wars, for goodness sake. Yeah, let's compete over, stealing people's possessions because they couldn't afford to pay their storage bills. Sorry, I used to watch that show and then I realized how heinous it was and I stopped. But have fun with this. Enjoy it, embrace it, and I think you're going to have a great time in Songtember 2024. What can you do from here? Well, jump into the comments. Let me know if you're in. Ask any questions. Hopefully I've made it all pretty clear with what you need to do and what's going to happen. All that you need to know is that if you keep your dial tuned to Studio Live today, I'll be telling you everything that you need to know throughout the month. I'll be encouraging you. We do some videos that are very practical. We do some videos that are very informative. And we do some inspirational videos as well that just say, hey, you got this. So there you have it. I hope you got some interesting information out of this. I hope you will join us for Songtember 2024 in whatever capacity you choose, as a participant, as a viewer, or as just someone that wants to be a cheerleader and in there telling folks how cool it is that they're creating and recording and releasing their best music. Don't forget studiolivetoday.com/Songtember is your one-stop shop for all your Songtember needs. There you'll find our friends of Songtember, as well as all the links you need to jump into this year's playlist or last year's if it's not quite September yet and you want to see what happened last year with our songs and our wonderful community. Head to studiolivetoday.com for all the ways you can interact with me and the community. And until next time, please be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep creating, and I'll see you next time right here on the Studio Live Today podcast.